Hey Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline fans. Yes, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important comic book review so you, the fans, can make a decision on what comic books to buy. And today, guys, I'm talking about a book that it was a viewer's request type of thing. A lot of people were telling me that I had to read this particular series and that I had to let them know how it was when I got done reading it. And that series was Black Hammer. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an overview of Black Hammer's issue number 1 and issue number 2. And I'm going to let you guys know if you should buy this book, if you shouldn't buy this book, if I liked it, didn't like it, whatever the case may be. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into this. So this book is, obviously, it's called Black Hammer. It is published by Dark Horse Comics, and price point of it is $3.99. Jeff Lemire is the author on this book, and Dean Ormston is the actual artist on this book. When you look at the cover, it almost looks like not like a superhero book. It almost looks like a horror book. So in certain ways, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be into another horror book, even though depending on the way it is, I like horror books. But when I got the recommendations of, others out there to read this series, I was like, okay. And so that's what made me give it a try. The interior artwork is a little bit better when you go inside it. But however, at times it is a little bit inconsistent as you get to see our heroes here. You get to see right away off the wall type of characters, and at times it looks like it's in good detail. In other times, though, it looks like the characters almost have like pig faces. And that's what I mean where the artwork is inconsistent. However, when I did read this book, the art really didn't bother me because I was really immersed into this story, just to let you know. At times it could be creepy, but then it also had this kind of like this little golden age vibe to it, especially when you read the book. It kind of goes together with the artwork in there. So I like the artwork. I thought it was nice. So what was the story about? And I'll give you my overview in the first issue. Well, the first issue is all about these cast of characters that you see on the cover. It's about the Abraham Slam. It's about Colonel Weird, Talkie Walkie, Barbarian, Alien. Jesus, I can't say that. We would get to Madame Dragonfly, and there's Golden Gale. So right away you know that there's a whole cast of characters, and they're outside in this farm. And for some reason, you don't know that yet, but they're stuck on this farm and they can't leave. But again, the book does a nice job at really showcasing all the characters right off the start. You know that they're a team. There's something that they're about to celebrate. And you got a nice title page where it says, "Welcome to Black Hammer." Now, the person that is actually missing is the leader, which is Black Hammer himself. I think his name was Ben or something like that. But the cool thing is when you got introduced to these characters, right away you get introduced to how their personalities are, how they're interacting with each other, and I really enjoyed that. This Barbarian guy, he reminds me of Martian Manhunter, and I think he actually is supposed to be kind of like this copy or tribute through him because he is from Mars. He could transform himself, and I thought that was really neat. And they show little flashbacks of how they battled back in the day. We get to see Talkie Walkie, who is just like this robot designer who actually is creating this drone to see if they can go past the boundary that they're stuck in, which I thought it was really neat. You get briefly introduced to this Colonel Strange, who goes always in this parazone, which is this different dimension, but it's really messing up with his brain. And he's like, his sidekick is Talkie Walkie. So right away, it does a nice job at introducing all these characters. Madame Dragonfly, who's like the mysterious type of magician type of hero, and my favorite is the little girl who is actually her name is Gail Gibbons, and she's just like a little girl, but she smokes and she curses, and you know that she's not in this body, like she's not supposed to be stuck in this body. But the person that has probably the most normal life out of anybody in here is the guy Abraham, and he's kind of adapted to this farm life really nicely. He winds up adapting. He gets like this girlfriend. He loves the country life, and everyone else around him is kind of struggling. And he's taken on that leadership role as the team since the leader has actually been destroyed. So in the end, you wind up seeing them celebrating this 10th anniversary of the time that they've gotten to this farm. Now, Abraham uses it as kind of a motivational type of speech saying, listen, I'm tired of you guys bitching. I know this is not the ideal situation, but you have to understand that Black Hammer, or Joe Weber is his name, sacrificed himself so we could all live. And this may not be the ideal type of world for us, but we have to appreciate the life that we were given. So that was pretty much the end of the issue. But you got to see the daughter of Black Hammer kind of investigating what happened in the actual city. And you wind up seeing that these heroes supposedly died saving Spiral City. And once again, it does an introduction of who these characters were and kind of what their superpowers were and whatnot. And you wind up seeing the daughter, who is an investigator or works for the news site, sits there and says, no matter what, I'm going to find my father. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought this book was really good, this first introductory issue. Like I said, it gives you all the characters in here. It kind of plays tribute to certain characters that we've known and loved. It kind of throws you to that golden age type of way of books as well, and it just wants you to read more. So after I got done reading the first issue, I was like, holy shit, well now I got to read the second issue. I can't just read one issue and not read the second. So when you go into the second issue, now it dives into the individual characters. So now it does much more character development. Got to know the team, now it's breaking down the characters. And the first thing that they wind up doing is they talk about Gail Gibbons, her character. And you wind up seeing that the title is called The Curse of Saffram. And the cool thing about this issue is that it's kind of like Shazam, right? Except, you know, how he changes into Shazam as an adult. Well, it's opposite for this Gail person. She goes from being an adult to a little girl, and she's trapped inside the body when she's in this farm now. But it tells you the whole story of how she became this character. She came across this wizard, and she felt like she was this chosen one, winds up striking her with the magic powers, and she winds up becoming Shazam. It's so funny. It's like I want to say Shazam, but it's not Shazam. It's Saffram. And she winds up having these powers. And at first she was ashamed of using her powers because she would transform into a little girl, and she was afraid that people were going to make fun of her and that they wouldn't like her and things like that. But as she grew older, she learned to appreciate her going from old to young, so she actually enjoyed that. The thing is you get to see her on the farm dealing with Abraham, stuck in this little girl's body as she has to pose as this little kid, and you have to go through the trials and tribulations of going to school, meeting with people, but she has this adult mind. She smokes, she curses, she winds up getting caught by the principal, and in the meantime you wind up getting to see some other little character interactions in here as well, with Colonel Strange and Dragonfly Lady and whatnot. And it was great seeing the flashbacks of Gail Gibbons and whatnot. The cool thing is when she gets caught in school smoking and drinking, we wind up seeing the Dragonfly Lady winds up putting a spell on the principal, and they wind up escaping because she winds up posing as her mother. And I thought that was really neat. But you really get to see the pain and the anguish that Gail goes through of being stuck in this body. She wants to become the woman that she is. She is tired of being in this situation. she sits there and she tells Abraham, she says, listen, Abraham, she's like, you got it made. She's like, you love living out here. You got a girlfriend. For me, it's quite different, and you know it. And it was very emotional seeing this character's story. In the end, though, you wind up seeing Talkie-Walkie's little drone flying around the Earth. So what does this mean going forward for the crew? I'm not sure. Will they be able to explore outside the farm? Not sure. But the next issue, issue number 3, that goes on sale September 21st, which I'm recommending you guys pick up, has to do with Barbarian, this dude here. So I'm interested to see his backstory and his anger and what he's gone through over the years. So what did I think about these first 2 issues that Jeff Lemire has put on the table? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm giving it 4 3/4 out of 5 stars. The only thing that throws me off a little bit on this book is a little bit of the artwork. I love how they play with the characters in this series, kind of playing tribute to like the Daily Planet, kind of like a little bit of a Lois Lane, Shazam, you know, what's it called, Martian Manhunter. Like, I love all that stuff, but they do it in their own little, his own little twist. And all these characters have their own distinct personalities, and I can't wait to unlock each and every one of them and to see what their future holds. Is going to be awesome too. So again, 4.75 out of 5 stars. I want to thank all of you who recommended this series to me. I probably would have never given it a shot because once again, it's kind of like those things that you see, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, and I kind of judged by that. Even when I looked in the interior art, I was kind of like, this looks a little weird for me. But again, it's the interior story that really shows the true colors of the book. My only concern about this is Jeff Lemire. Sometimes he writes things really, really strong right off the bat, and then he kind of fizzles out at the end. So I'm hoping he keeps up the consistency with this book, and I'm being positive about it. So guys, in the comments below, please tell me what you thought of Black Hammer's issue number 1 and issues number 2. And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. Don't forget to check out our live show tonight, Tuesday night, about 9:45, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we talk about our top 5 comic books of the week. We're going to do a Rebirth overview, kind of about where Rebirth stands at this moment. And we're going to talk about this week's comic book news. So again, fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. And this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, guys. Bye.